Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and it's a new dawn, new day, and a new GBBR, and this time we're looking at the Raptor SR2M. Highly anticipated this, and kind of cautious about buying this. So I picked this up from Airsoft here in the UK. Never bought anything from them before. They did take a while to send it out. I think I ordered it and then it didn't get... I don't think I got an email about a possible issue with the dispatch till like 10 days later. But I ordered the SR2M. It comes in two colours, so you can get this in brown or in black. Now, I ordered it in black. Now, many people would order this in brown. I just think, for those wanting an SR2M, the brown's probably a better colour. But me personally, I just thought it looked better in black, so I ordered it in black. 10 days later after me ordering it, I get an email basically saying the black's out of stock, and we've got one in brown. If you're happy to have that, we'll send a like a handguard and all the bits that you need in black separately. And I was like, sure, I don't mind that because I'm getting what I want at the end of the day. So best of both worlds. So the reason why I'm so cautious about this is because the other GBB product that Raptor did, or the product that released under the Raptor brand, because I think this brand is maybe part of like Land of Defense and a few other ones, was the Grak pistol, which was a Russian pistol, and it is quite possibly the worst gas blowback pistol I think I ever tried. They were horrendous. So very, very cautious going into this. They're not cheap. They look at 350 quid. But we're going to take a look today. Now, I've got a microfiber handy because I hear these are absolutely caked in oil. So we're going to have a look. So we open the box here. We've got the SR2M in the box with a magazine. We've got a little plastic piece which you can use to dry fire this. What I thought was funny is this says instruction manual. What instruction manual? So there's a couple of warnings here that you have with all the general stuff. So you've got an exploded diagram. So that is a bit misleading because this isn't an instruction manual. This is a parts exploded diagram with a parts list. I wouldn't call this an instruction manual at all, but we are, you know, very proficient in GBBR, so I'm sure we can figure it out. The one thing that was weird to me when it turned up is it's got blue tape wrapped around it. So if you've got one of these and yours came with blue tape wrapped around it as well, let me know in the comments below. But I just thought it was a bit strange. So I initially opened the box and thought this was like a used product. So I was like, why on earth is there blue tape there? So I don't know, maybe it's an importation thing. So you get the SR2M, you get one gas magazine. We're going to take this out the box, get rid of the box, and have a closer look at this thing. So it's kind of like the closest thing that I can relate it to is it's like Russia's version of the MP7, but it's a very, very unique looking replica here. I know absolutely nothing about the real one. I know these are meant to be like, I'm sure it's like striker fired, but we'll have a look. So you can see that it is covered in oil. So I imagine they ship them like this to stop them rusting, because I imagine a lot of these parts are like stamped steel. So you actually have a stock on this replica and a front grip. So the front grip can be moved by pulling down the latch on the handle here, and then that will lock into place. Little bit of movement, but not horrendous at all. With the handle folded down, we actually reveal where our hop appears, which is very good actually. I do like this. It's very easy to access. I can, you know, adjust it while I'm firing. Again, I'm not 100% sure why there's blue tape attached to it. So let's see if we can take this off here. And yeah, so it comes in brown. So the stock, what we basically do is we pull this piece here, and this will allow this to move up, and then we can open this up and the stock is unfolded. So let's now pull this ugly brown tape off. Looks like it's been on there for a while because it can you can see where it's been on the plastic. So not a fan of that because actually it does just rub off. So it might just be where it's been on the plastic, and then the oil has sort of gone over it. So you can see the amount of oil on this thing. So I'm just going to rub that down just a little bit because I don't want it getting all over my hands as I'm taking a look at this thing. So it is, we can get our magnet here. What did I do with my magnet? I'm sure I had one. There we go. Steel stock, Steel shoulder piece to the stock. Now this does just flop about when it's not in use. Steel top cover. The bottom isn't, it's just like die cast. As well as the selectors, trigger, everything else. The sling loop there is steel. Top piece, no. So really, bolt, no. Selector, what's that attaching to? I think there's a steel plate between the grip and the frame. So the steel part's really only, you know, the top cover and the stock. The barrel does look aluminium as well. Yeah, it is. So there we go. Simple as that. So I'm just going to pop the top cover here. We basically do that by pressing this button at the back. Very similar to an AK. And then I'm just going to get rid of this excess grease, because we'll be lubing this up ourselves anyway with some high performance lubricants. Just so I can handle this thing without it slipping out my hands. So we can put the top cover back down, push that into place. You've got a little handle on the right where the bolt is, so you don't want to be operating this or firing it with that folded, because it will actually hit the dust cover. So fold it down, pull it back. What I do notice is there doesn't seem to be any spring whatsoever on the nozzle, which is very strange. This is your safety on the right hand side, which is very, very loose, and it doesn't latch in to the points. So this might need to be just bent slightly, just so it can sit in those little notches. So loose selector. You've got this piece on the back here, which also I imagine is just to block off the dust cover there, stop dirt ingress and stuff like that. We flip it over, we've got our selector, which is harder to you know, push from one to the other, but still, if I push it towards the body, it will actually latch in, but you don't get that at all. So mark down for that. Now, I'm fully expecting this to have a bad trigger from what I've seen, but let's test it out. So we cock it first, obviously. You've got this really long trigger pull, no wall, and then the gun fires. So the reset, there's no feeling to this whatsoever. This is quite possibly one of the worst triggers I've tried, but you know, they're not known for having good triggers on the real ones anyway. So you know, you can fold the grip in. It's actually really nice. It's a nice size, you know, to your hands. It's not an uncomfortable thing to hold. It's very light. It doesn't have much weight to it at all. We fold it out, of course. We get our grip. So on the front here, we actually have a very weird looking muzzle device. Again, I'm not clued up on the real thing, so don't ask me to tell you what this is. However, if we push the little pin down as we spin it, we can spin this off, which reveals a 14mm counterclockwise thread. Now we can just test that by getting a barrel accessory here and shoving this on. I think they are planning to do a dedicated suppressor for this, but you know, anything you want to put on there, tracers, it's very important, especially when people are playing in CQB. And then to put this back on, we just rotate it round. It'll eventually catch the pin. We just push the pin down, rotate it round until it stops like that. So you've got a little sling loop here. You've got a sling loop on the left-hand side of the stock. And then, of course, if you don't want to have the stock unfolded, we can press the button underneath here and it will fold over the top like a Vicker, like the SR2M. And then you have to push this down. Now, one thing I did notice is on this one is the stock is bent, so it doesn't actually line up straight. Now, I don't know whether that's the case of that's how it is on all of them, or whether this one is just affected by that. So we fold it over the top and it gets it out the way. The grip is very odd looking, and I noticed this when I looked at the pictures, that this beaver tail here looked far too low, and I can confirm when holding this thing that this beaver tail is far too low, and it's just an inherent design of, you know, the real thing. So it's not the most uncomfortable thing that I've ever felt, but by far it is not uncomfortable. It's not comfortable at all. You got a very wide grip. The mag release is actuated on both sides So we can slot the mag in like that, and that is how it looks folded up. We press the mag release, it falls out under its own weight. It's very loose and smooth in and out. There is a bit of rattle, of course, when it's in there. I'm not entirely sure how many rounds these hold, but we can obviously test that out and find that out for us. So magazine looks a little bit weird. You've got the fill valve on the back here. Long channel on the front here for your BBs. And then what actually happens is when this is loaded with BBs, as this gets pushed into the gun, it pushes this little latch down, which locks it in place. As this moves up, you've got a very thin steel latch on the inside here. And as it hits that, it blocks the valve, and that's, you know, what makes it stop when firing. So let's get some BBs. We'll get some .25s, and then we'll chrono this thing and see what it's doing. I'm not, you know, expecting crazy power out of this thing, but the major thing that I want to test is, does this thing actually work? Because, you know, previous products that Raptor have released, especially with the Graph pistol, they were very, very bad indeed. So I'm just filling up a speed loader here. We'll see if we can load this from the top. No, we cannot. So we will have to pull this tab down here. Now, it's very similar, the mag design, in terms of the latch and stuff, to the Laminar Defense GHM9 Gen 2s. That was like an MP9 style magazine. However, it had this same like thick follower. So we can actually get the BBs in from the top all the way down to the bottom. So we're going to put some rounds in this thing. Let's see if we can keep going. I have already gassed this up, which I tried to put gas in it, but I don't know whether it's full. It just wouldn't accept any gas, so I'm guessing it's already got gas in it. So we'll keep filling this up here. That'll do. We'll get one more in. There we go. So how many rounds does this hold? Could probably get one more in there and have it safely feed. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 39. So it's going to be a 40 round magazine. Get another one in there. There we go. If you're unsure about that and loading that, you know, all the way to the full, you can always take one round out. It should be absolutely fine. So we're going to chrono this thing. It's at room temperature, a little bit on the colder side to the warmer side, but at room temperature. We've got 0.25 gram BBs in here. We'll set the chrono. So we'll put this magazine in. It's on semi-auto. It's on, that is obviously safe, and then that's fire. We'll lock this back, let it go forward, and we'll fire one round and see what comes out. Nothing. So I'm guessing you might, when you've filled these mags, you might have to do that manually, which is slightly annoying, but let's try that again. So we're at 1.25 joules, 0.98, 0.87, 0.98, 0.86, 0.85, 0.82, 0.82, 0.82 again, and 0.8 joules. So started off a bit high and then it came down and settled. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this onto the fun mode and I'm going to see if we can empty this mag. This mag is already getting very cold, but let's see if it'll actually function. So here we go, auto. And we've locked up there. So the bolt didn't return all the way to battery. Did it load one? It did not. No, we're still dead. Are we out of gas? We're out of gas. That's weird. We didn't die off there. It just ended. Very strange. Now, we did experience similar things with the Lambda Defense GHM9 Gen 2 magazines. It was kind of the bad point of the GHM9 Gen 2s. So I've put a bit more gas in it. It doesn't seem to accept gas. And I think it's the same as the GHM9. Just the valves just don't seem to allow gas to flow into them. However, let's try again. Very, very fast rate of fire. It stopped on empty, but obviously it doesn't lock back. So the rate of fire is actually really, really nice. Let's gas this back up again. I didn't buy any spare mags for this thing yet because I thought I'm not going to go and invest hundreds of pounds on magazines for this thing to turn up and it be bad. So already we're doing better than the Grack pistols. So I only have the one mag to test with you, but obviously if this thing did well, I'll just order the magazines afterwards. So I've gassed it up. It is a little bit cooler on the magazine, but we've filled it with BBs again. I'm going to try and empty this magazine now. We need to, so that's one thing you got to remember when you're reloading this gun. Once you fill the gas in the BBs, you always have to manually press that down, which is ever so annoying. I thought the gun might actually do that for you when you put it in, but it doesn't. So you just have to keep that in mind. Another mag through it. Stopped on empty with the bolt forward, obviously. So yeah, it seems to be working just fine. Can we keep going? So I'm going to top the gas off again. The magazine is getting cold. If I can, it just seems like it's after a few mags, like it's taken a bit more gas, obviously because the mag's obviously getting colder. If we can get another mag out of it, I'll do it on semi-auto this time. I don't want to ask too much of it. If I can get another mag of BBs out of this, I will be delightfully surprised. This gun isn't going to be for everybody. It's very Russian. The only reason I really know about the SR2M is from watching people play modded versions of the video game Stalker, and I'm talking about the original one. And when I saw it in that video game, I was like, that is just so wacky that I kind of love it. I was a fan of the SR3M, which is is it like the VAL or the VSS style, which has got the overfold stock? When I first started Bespoke, I bought in the LCT ones. They were just so incredibly heavy. But we'll switch this back to semi. We need to make sure we press that down, of course. You have to manually reset your magazines. And we're just going to try and peel these off semi-auto. And we fired all those BBs off. One thing I will say about this gun is the trigger when you're doing semi, because you have to let it forward so far, you have to kind of shoot it like that. You can't be, on the trigger doing quick shots. You have to fully release it and do it like that. So if you're used to better triggers, you're going to absolutely hate this trigger. But it is what it is. It's not meant to be. And I don't think they've ever claimed that the triggers were good in these things. So we're just going to pop this top open now and we'll have a quick look inside. So we do that. We can pull the top spring system out, which is a telescoping spring guide with a singular spring. Seems adequately made. We'll test the material out. I'd imagine it would be steel. Let's get our magnet. So yeah, steel rear section. That part's just pinned in, but is also steel. And if we pull the spring away so we don't attract it, the front part of the spring guide is steel as well. So I think, you know, that's probably, it's got quite a bit of pressure on it. I mean, it has got a fast rate of fire on auto. It's got a very unique looking trigger system. So I think we also have to remove this part as well, which is, it's a very weird, like, linear hammer system. I might have said striker fire before, I've got that wrong. So it's like a linear hammer. So how do we take this out? Not entirely sure. Maybe we pull that to the rear and then pull it out. Not sure at all. Very, very strange indeed. With this pivoted up the top cover, we can actually remove the furniture, which reveals where the hop adjuster is, but we don't have to do that. We can easily adjust it from the bottom. So if this hop-up unit works, it's going to be a very good, simple system to adjust, which is nice. To shove that back in, we just line that up with the front. I'm going to be able to do this. Am I doing this properly? Let me make sure I am. I think it needs to go in much lower than what I'm trying. There we go. Much lower than what I'm trying to do. And then it's obviously the top cover, which you push down into position. You have to make sure that's pushed all the way, and it like pivots in and holds the handguard in place. I'm not entirely sure how to get this system out of the back. I think we could, if we could, you know, safely bend this, it would give a much better engagement and be a little bit better. I would like to think that this system, it does look like it's got screws in it, so maybe not. Maybe that's not how we do it. That looks like it's captured underneath in the rails. Just having a quick look here. I'm sure I saw a video of someone doing this very easily. I just want to take the bolt out and have a look. That's all I want to do. And not having proper instruction manuals on how to do this, I will probably go away and watch a video just so I don't break it, because I imagine getting spare parts for this bugger is going to be non-existent straight off the bat. We might have to wait for a bit of part support. So I'll have a quick look at that. I think it was, what was the name of the YouTube channel? He does a lot of stuff overseas. It begins with a G. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. So he did a lot of videos on this pre-release, and he was showing it off. So I'll have to just go back and have a look at his videos, see how he stripped it apart, see if it's straightforward. Again, I don't want to snap something and not be able to get a part for it when it's brand new. So yeah, I mean, it's not straight off the bat, it doesn't seem too bad. There is a very specific rail fitment up here, I believe. I know they are doing accessories for them. So performance straight off the cuff doesn't seem bad at all. But time will obviously tell. We need to test the hot performance again when we can get out to ranges when the weather's a bit better, and see how this thing does at range. I need to go and order some mags for this thing. So the one thing I will say is the replica itself has a bit of weight to it, but the magazines are very, very light. You just have to make sure that once you've gassed this up and you put it in with BBs, you have to manually lock that back down to get it into place now. My thumb has gone completely numb now, so I've been helping the boys and girls out down at HC2 with their new project, so I can't really go into details of that, but my fingers have gone numb for some reason. So there you have it, a Russian submachine gun, which is very, very unique. It's the first of its kind in the airsoft replica, you know, space. And what do you think of it? It's very wacky, isn't it? It does look cool. It's something a bit different. You know, everyone's got an MP9 or an MP7 these days, or a Vorsk VMP1. It's just nice to have, you know, whether you like Russia for what they're doing at the moment or not. But it's if we're just talking about the replicas themselves, it's always nice to have more replicas that we don't already have access to. So I'm glad it's not completely useless out the box. The other box they sent with it was when they said, would I be okay in accepting these parts instead of having one that's just black out the box. So in here we get, if I can pop this open, we've got a black handguard. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe it's to stop it closing on itself. We've got a black handguard. We have a black foregrip. Again, these parts just replace the standard ones. Actually take a look at this grip as well. All black parts. So if we line these up here, that's kind of what it looks like black. And I think this gun just looks far more menacing in black. Very tactical. You know, it's sort of, I don't know, as I was looking at pictures on the website, I just preferred the black to it. Now, I imagine a lot of people are going to go with the brown. The brown is very dark, so it's not like in your face. Those that are want to stay more to the original, I imagine they're going to want this plum style brown colour. But yeah, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. There it is, the Raptor SR2M. Don't worry, I'll be doing some more bits on this. It's gonna just want to make sure the video doesn't go too long. Whatever you want to see on this thing, let me know. Once we get a bunch of mags, we can run it through its paces and see how it does mag after magazine after magazine. I don't know what I've done. Maybe it was something I was missed about there, but my thumb is completely numb. I don't know where I've caught it. But there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. It does look very cool, doesn't it? It's like a almost sci-fi looking, even though it's not a new thing. But for me, I just want to get those levers a little bit better. Maybe I'll throw the black on there. Maybe I'll do the brown. I mean, it is very subtle. In person, so how I see it, because I can obviously see the phone screen. In person, it's much more brown. On the camera, I don't know why, for whatever reason, maybe it's the lighting, it's making it look very dark, but it is a much lighter brown than what it's coming through on the camera. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So thanks for tuning in as always. This is the Raptor SR2M gas blowback submachine gun. And now I need to go shopping and get some magazines for this thing. So thanks as always for watching. If you can like the video and subscribe, it would be massively appreciated. You can check out the link in the description down below for a link to the Jaeger Precision Discord community. And as always, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.